Giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakwadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, and bishops of Great Millstone, as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings unto the 144,000, as well as the rest of the elect. This is Brother Tazapai here with another lesson, and this lesson is, I know I won't be able to cover it with this one video, so it'll more than likely turn out to be a series. So dare I say, this series is going into the 250th anniversary of the children of Israel being oppressed here in North America as a whole. Modern day Egypt, all right? We're on the eve, on the cuspis of America being 250 years old under the rule of the devil who the earth was given into the hands of. Okay? And their renaissance took place in the 1300s, mid to late 1300s, in which you saw, well, when you read history, you see that the Spaniards, through Christopher Columbus, got over here 1492 to oppress the northern kingdom of Israel. All right. Now, the Israelites today, predominantly you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, we've been spread out to the four corners of the globe. All right. But they knew it was a concentration of us in South and Central, as well as North America. They knew we was here, we being the northern kingdom. Okay? And so when they got a foothold in the southern kingdom, over in Africa, Spain, and all of that, the 1300s, then they came over here to oppress Jake in the Western Hemisphere. All right, so we're going to just look at a little history, all right, because I found out something, that we were not always oppressed here in America. Matter of fact, at the birth of this place, Hebrew Israelites were welcomed. But we know that doesn't fit in with prophecy. So something had to change, all right? But initially, Hebrew Israelites, us Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans were recognized and acknowledged as Hebrew Israelites. All right. And so I'm here, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. It says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." All right. So it's speaking of the day of the Lord coming, but it said it's not going to come except two things happen first. One, the falling away. There had to be a falling away first, and that is the children of Israel losing their heritage. All right? Being displaced from their land and then stripped of all of their heritage and culture. And this is why we call ourselves Latinos. This is why we have to say you so-called Negroes, Latinos, you Native Americans, because you fallen away from being a Hebrew Israelite. Some of you even come to blows because we tell you you're a Hebrew Israelite. That's how much you've fallen away. You call yourself Latino, Mexican American, African American, all right, Cuban, El Salvadorian, Ecuadorian, Venezuelan. You call yourself all this shit that you're not. That's a covering that's been put on you by the enemy, the devil. All right? So that falling away has happened. But it says also that the man of sin must be revealed, the son of perdition, and that's Esau, Edom. The reason why there's so much confusion in the world in the first place. All right? So here we are coming at the end of June. It's June 29, all right? And we have a alleged America's birthday coming up, right? July the 4th, which is actually the celebration of Sirius rising, all right, in line with the summer solstice. All right, it's something unique that happens every 4th of July in the heavens dealing with Sirius A and Sirius B. And these elites draw off of this energy, all right? So they say, oh, we founded America on July the 4th. No, they didn't. But that's the narrative. We're going to roll with the narrative, all right? But July the 4th is the celebration of Sirius rising, all right? And when you look at it, I've seen it. You see it twinkle red, white, and blue. It literally twinkles those colors. All right? So this is what they're getting ready to celebrate. What is this Thursday? No, it's Saturday, Salakia. This Saturday, you know, they'll be celebrating the rising of Sirius, the dog star. All right? It's the dog, they call it the dog star. All right? But they'll tell you, oh, it's the founding of America. All right, and so here we are 250 years. We know that the average lifespan of a kingdom or an empire is 250 years. All right? That being said, I want to bring y'all into some history. All right? This is what the Lord said. Jeremiah 17:4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And that what we read, that the day of the Lord wasn't going to come except they're coming falling away first. We're deep into that falling away. As the Lord said, we have discontinued from our heritage. Again, Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4, and thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. All right? And so we know that Most High didn't mean in eternity, because now we see his anger is subsided, being redirected, if you will, toward the Edomites, because we know from Lamentations 4 and 20, 21 and 22, that the punishment of our iniquity, the iniquity of the children of Israel, is accomplished. So the Most High has given us mercy through this grace. All right? So that's that. I think I'm going to go to this right quick. All right? Salakia here. I don't know why I grabbed this. But I would like to draw your attention to one Moses, Seixas. I don't know how you pronounce it, but one Moses Seixas, letter to President George Washington, in whom we were told, right, was the first president of America. But what we're finding out, that he's the first president of white America. All right? He's the first that the Edomites will recognize in their history. So this is at the onset of them oppressing us. So this is Moses Seixas, letter to President George Washington. All right? Now I'm going to show you what they tell you he looked like. Look at this. Look at Moses right here. I just wanted to show you that the fix is still in. They ain't gonna never give it up. Oh shit, I'm on. They ain't gonna never give it up. They're gonna go to their grave with these lies. Okay, so this is what they say Moses looked like. I'm just trying to pull this picture up, but I'm gonna see how I can. That's Moses. Do you even know any Edomites named Moses? Maybe some Amish, Oh, fuck. Maybe some Amish, and some of the, the real Orthodox small hats, they might take a name like that. Like Netanyahu, just to try to, just to triple down on the fix, the lie. So this is what they say. Moses, Sexus, however he pronounced it, this is what he looks like, clearly an Edomite. Now let's read a letter that he wrote to George Washington. All right. This is Moses Sextus, letter to President George Washington. All right. To the President of the United States of America. Sir, permit the children of the stock of Abraham to approach you with the most cordial affection and esteem for your person and merits, and to join with our fellow citizens in welcoming you to Newport. All right, he was visiting Newport. Blow it up a little bit. It says, with the pleasure we reflect on those days of difficulty and danger, when the power of Israel, who delivered David from the peril of the sword, shielded your head in the day of battle. And we rejoice to think that the same Spirit who rested in the bosom of the greatly beloved Daniel, enabling him to preside over the provinces of the Babylonish Empire, rest and ever will rest upon you, enabling you to discharge the arduous duties of chief magistrate in these states. All right. That's something else right there. That's something in itself. Duties of chief magistrate. All right. Something to look into. Now it says, deprived as we heretofore have been. Okay. And stick a pin right here, second paragraph. Deprived as we heretofore have been of the invaluable rights of free citizens, we now, with a deep sense of gratitude to the Almighty Disposer of all events, behold a government erected by the majesty of the people. See, this is something new. This is Rome being revised. All right, as he's saying, this ain't a dictatorship. It's not a monarchy. He said, let me get back to it. Behold a government erected by the majesty of the people. And what did Daniel 7, I think around 8 or 9, it speaks about the fourth beast, saying it was more diverse from the three before it. And this is why. And this is the fourth beast. We're in it. This was the beginning of it. And he's telling you how it was something different. A government erected by the majesty of the people. A government which to bigotry gives no sanction, to persecution no assistance, but generously affording to all liberty of conscience and the immunities of citizenship, deeming everyone of whatever nation, tongue, or language equal parts of the great governmental machine. You see? The great governmental machine. This so ample and extensive federal union whose basis is philanthropy, mutual confidence, and public virtue. We cannot but acknowledge to be the work of the great God, who, right, he's talking about that government, that this newly formed government. He's saying we cannot but acknowledge to be the work of the great God, who ruleth in the armies of heaven. And you see, he's quoting all kinds of scriptures throughout this. And among the inhabitants of the earth, doing whatever seemeth him good. For all these blessings of civil religious liberty, which we enjoy under an equal and benign administration, we desire to send up our thanks to the Ancient of Days. Look at that Ancient of Days. Is this how Esau talks? It sounds just like us. All right? We desire to send up our thanks to the Ancient of Days, the great preserver of men, beseeching him that the angel who conducted our forefathers through the wilderness into the promised land may graciously conduct you through all the difficulties and dangers of this mortal life. And when, like Joshua, full of days and full of honor, you are gathered to your fathers, may you be admitted into the heavenly paradise to partake of the water of life and the tree of immortality. Now he's petitioning George Washington for something. So, you know, whether he understood about the Edomites or not, that's just like when the apostles speak about you going into court. You don't talk to the judge crazy. You address him with respect. So, and then they may not have known who the Edomites. Moses may not have known that they were Edomites. And then he could have known and just been, you know, playing the game. You got to know when and how to play the game. And I'm not saying that's what he was doing, but yeah, George Washington gonna be probably one of the apostles' chief slaves. You know? And we might just go over each other's house just for the privilege of beating these famous crackers. Man, I always wanted to beat Bill Gates' ass. Oh, that brother Monaghan, he got Bill Gates. You know, hit up Monaghan. Hey, brother, when can I come beat Bill Gates' ass? I've been wanting to beat his ass since Babylon. Oh, brother, well, shit, I'll be free. I'll be here till you can come by. You know, we just gonna be, we're gonna have fun. But, you know, right, we're gonna want to get our hands on some of these devils. And the Lord gonna let us. All right? But, right, yeah, you know, you're not gonna see George Washington up in heaven or in the kingdom chilling. He gonna be amongst us, talking shit, drinking yayan. Hell no. All right? And it says, done and signed by order of the Hebrew congregation in Newport, Rhode Island, August 17th, 1790. All right? Now, when you do the history, and how I know these was Negroes, well, one, how the letter was worded. You saw, well, you heard me read it. And if you an adept in these scriptures, you heard scriptures as I was reading his letter to President George Washington. You know, now these people address the president, it's no biblical references, acknowledgments, nothing dealing with the Bible. But old Moses, he gave reverence and acknowledgement and praise to God of the Israelites, the God of the Hebrews, the God of Israel. He did all of that because he was a Hebrew Israelite. So let me break it down. So I'm going to have to go in a little bit what this letter was about. All right. The Edomites had a strong foothold at this time in Spain. And you had Negroes that were part of the Moorish Empire fleeing from Spain, coming to seek refuge in this newly formed government of the United States. So they came here to escape Spanish persecution. Well, at the same time, Spanish persecution was going on in South and Central America, as well as in Spain and Morocco. So they said, you're going to get down with this Christianity or you're going to lay down. And they was laying niggas down. And you know that from how they did the Spaniards, but we wasn't told they was doing the Negroes the same way over in Spain. Because I believe, well, yeah, like I said, they had the foothold by then, 1790, and so they was forcing these Hebrew Israelite Muslims, if that makes sense, but these Israelites who was Moors and Muslims, they might have been into, they might have been, in their Hebrew heritage. And the Spaniards said, you got to convert to this Christianity or we're going to put you to death. All right? This persecution was throughout the 1700s. And before, all right? But this was the time, as you see, the letter was dated 1790, and that's the actual letter right there. I will see if I can find the info tomorrow to go with this to show where you had Negroes coming over here after, this new government was founded. And not only that, I need to find where George Washington, this president, no. I think this is it. Well, basically, George said, y'all welcome, and we'll go into this tomorrow. So, and that's just to say, yeah. So this is it, George Washington's letter to the Hebrew congregation in Newport, Rhode Island. And we'll get into this tomorrow. But George said, yeah, y'all welcome. Y'all come on. Y'all welcomed over here. And the Negroes came over here. All right, that was the trick bag that the Most High was going to put our asses in slavery down the line. All right? But right, this is the time that the children of Israel was going into slavery. All right? From 1492 all the way up to the 1800s. All right? We wasn't, Israel is great. Israel is worldwide. You cannot put us in captivity in one day. You can't even do it in 1 year. All right? So we were subjugated with being taken down. There's 12 tribes of us. we like to multiply. We're innumerable. It took this man centuries to get a hold on us. All right? You're talking from the late 1300s to the 1700s to try to get a hold on us. All right? And so now here we are, and we'll get in some more of this history, but George said, yeah, we welcome all, this is a Mecca for freedom. And those wasn't his words, but this he was saying, yeah, we offering liberty, sovereignty to all. All right, and Negroes came over here from Spain. But we'll get into more of it, all right, and more scriptures. We're going to close out on the scripture. I don't know why I pulled that up, and now I don't even have the rest of my So we'll go out here. This is Exodus chapter 21, verse 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or he that be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. All right? So not only y'all stole us and sold us, now we still found in your hand. All right? That's what emancipation means, a change of hands. We still in your hands. That was dumb. We call it an emancipation. So now you guilty. Because emancipation means you didn't free us, you just put us you changed us over into the different hands. Which is still the hands of an Edomite. Y'all gonna pay. Until tomorrow, shalom.